Hi, this is Vinay Modi. In my previous video, I talked about balancing EQ and IQ. In this video, I want to talk about something which has gripped or engulfed the entire world, the corporate fraternity, and India is no exception to that. And I'm talking about work-life balance. What happened when India awakened to the reality of corporate world? There was so much pressure on corporates to perform. And leaders, managers, entrepreneurs started chasing those targets for witnessing better bottom line. In the entire bargain, stress became a gift, or rather stress was a gift that nobody wanted to have, but they had to take. And suddenly in last 10 years, we've seen this awakening about work-life balance and a stress-free life that corporate people want to live. And the same can be spoken or said about student community, young people like you who are aspiring for great careers, and you've got next 2 months which are so critical for you. It's pretty important for you to maintain that work-life balance. When I say work-life balance, what I mean is to have quality physicality, have that energy, have that momentum, have that orientation where you can actually be fit, energetic, and perform to the best of your potential. When I say that, some people might think that it doesn't make sense to them. But in my 19 years, I've seen, young people, when exams are round the corner, there is this something, different happens in them. They just wish to achieve what they decided to. And in that bargain, they first and foremost forget to sleep, forget to eat, and forget to drink what their body wants. And when people remind them, their answers are, we have no time, don't disturb us. And sometimes their parents are not there with them. And then the biggest gift of technology and entrepreneurship are those apps which are making people eat junk food quite easily and quite often, because it's a very, very easy way to satiate yourself. There is no problem with that. But excessive consumption is causing them to have big problem, and it is taking heavy toll on their lifestyle and health also. I have seen so many students coming from outside, they leave in between because their health doesn't support them. Would you like that to happen to you before such critical exams? Well, I'm sure the answer is no. It's important for us to try and take care of small things and make a bigger change in life. I am talking about something which I have followed, something that my students have been following, and those who followed have really started reaping rich dividends, because it becomes a matter of lifestyle and it becomes a matter of habit, and that doesn't die so easily. So once you catch this, it's going to be with you. Especially when you people are writing exams which are of 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. There's something that happens with students. You ask people across the board, they'll say, or rather my experience tells me that most of them find it difficult to sit for 3 hours and study, write tests. They can sit maximum for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they get up because the stamina is not there. They don't even feel that it is possible. And my standard advice to students who follow, that you have at least 3 sittings of 3 hours each and you see the magic. Well, it's very difficult, because 9 hours in some interregnum, it's very difficult for people to have. Why so? Because they don't have energy, because they don't take care of their physicality, because they believe studying and knowing concept is the only thing that they should have. But few people who actually have found out that this can be possible, it is possible, they are having all positive results. So how can we effect these changes and change our lifestyle as a student who is aspiring for, or as a students who are aspiring for exams like IFT, SNAP, ZAT, TISNET, and then personality assessment? Well, few tips I would like to give, and maybe it can work wonders for you people. First and foremost, declutter your surrounding. When I say that, what I'm trying to tell you is that there are people, when they study a lot, you can see heap of books lying around, and that creates some kind of negative energy, and they don't realize it because they are just studying. It's better that you avoid that clutter and you keep your entire place absolutely sacred and absolutely clean. So when you focus on studying, magic happens. So decluttering is the first mantra. Declutter your surrounding, you will declutter yourself. And that confusion that takes place, which question to choose, what option is correct, that dilemma is because we are indecisive. We have created that indecisiveness from our surroundings. So it's better that we create that clarity, and decluttering will help you get that clarity. Second, it is pretty important for people like you to have long sleep. When I say long sleep, I am talking about continuous 6.5 hours sleep. Now this kind of sleeping pattern will really give you that freshness and energy. Make sure that you have one. There are people who talk about 8 hours, but I believe 6 hours, 6.5 hours at a stretch would really do the purpose, or would do the needful, provided you actually feel the importance of that. Problem is, people have intermittent sleeping also. They sleep for 2 hours, then they get up. They have very, very different lifestyle, sleeping cycle. When the exams are going to take place in the afternoon, you make sure, or morning, you make sure that you are absolutely fresh before these exams. It's better to actually have right sleeping cycle. Third, when you start preparing, you start forgetting that you have to have food, lunch, dinner, breakfast on time. Well, that's completely your choice. But you make sure that you don't overeat. At the same time, you don't starve also. People end up eating a lot. That's also bad. And starving is also bad. So it's better to have that balance. If you cannot really eat at one point of time, maybe small portions for long, or maybe in days, can actually help you. It's the way you look at it. I have seen people, because there is technology, that people actually, order for those junk food, or those, because there are so many choices that they have. Now what happens because of that, they at times overeat. And junk doesn't help them. Instead of that, they should have fruits with them, and they should really have more consumption of fruit. Now it is not about expensive food, or let's say cheap food. It's important for you to have intake of fruit, because when you have fruit, then you avoid junk food, and then that kind of energy helps you, and you can possibly afford to have it at night as well. Next, I would say liquids. The most important weapon that you can have are 2 glasses of water with you all the time, and they are filled. So when you have drunk water, you should refill them, and make sure that in certain time you start actually taking that as well. So what happens because of that, water intake allows you to have that energy, freshness, momentum, motivation and clarity, and even it gives you absolutely positive state of mind, and we've seen magic happening because of it. Next very important phenomenon is the power of walking. Be with nature, align yourself with nature, body, mind and soul. If that alignment takes place, then that clarity is going to be there. So take long stride, take long walk, go out maybe in garden, and maybe possibly, try and be with nature for some time. What happens that so much clarity, you get time to introspect, you get time to talk to yourself. That isolation is very, very cherished. So once you do that, it really helps you a lot, and it really makes you enjoy your life. Next very important aspect again is physicality. I'm not saying that you do possibly by being rigorous about it, but yes, if you're exercising, it's phenomenal, it's great. If you've been doing that, great. Don't start now. Maybe a couple of asanas of yoga can actually help you gain that momentum and gain that clarity about your breathing pattern, because I've seen it's the breathing pattern that makes a big difference. Your inhaling and exhaling can really make a big difference. We people take it for granted, but our scriptures tell us, or maybe Vedas would possibly remind us, civilizations would remind us that tribes which actually had very clean breathing pattern, they were the most progressive and modern tribes, and that's what should reflect in us. So if you actually can take care of it, it's amazing. At the same time, if you don't do any of these, maybe anything that really gives you momentum is going to be great. Possibly some kind of conversation with people who can really make a big difference in your quality thoughts, that can also help. Now these changes, can actually allow you to have the right combination, possibly in the form of protein, fiber, whatever. I'm not here to actually, give you that advice. But what I'm trying to tell you is that orientation will give you that clear work-life balance. And then you see 5 to 10% change in your approach or scores can be a huge dividend. So I'm sure you will actually take a leaf out of what I'm saying and promise yourself that this is going to be your habit for life. Thank you so much. In my next video, I will talk about very important exams, their analysis, and the way you should approach. Thank you.